So the other day, my friend tells me this story about this family dog who's chasing a frog around in a yard full of tall grass. And the son is inside the house and he's looking out the window and all he can see is the dog running around and jumping and looking like a complete idiot. The dog looks like an idiot to him because he can't see the frog through the tall grass. That frog represents your goal. For every person out there that is living their best life or trying to create something different, there is always going to be at least one person watching everything you're trying and they just can't make sense of it. They're racking their brain trying to figure out how, why, and when you lost your mind. And when those moments happen, you've got to keep building. You've got to know that when you are misunderstood, that you are in the company of every creator, innovator, and dreamer that has ever lived. And sometimes looking like the idiot in someone else's story is the price you got to pay to be the hero of your own. Keep your eyes on the frog. Just because someone else doesn't see it doesn't mean you have to stop getting after it.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for tuning in today. We have an amazing show in store for you. I think you're going to love what you hear and what you see in today's All Hands Meeting 31. We're embarking on All Hands Meeting 31, and it means a lot to us because this is our 10th year doing All Hands Meetings. And you know, when we did our first ever All Hands Meeting, this is how we looked. And it's a great testament to how far we've come. In fact, you know, you have Michael there, Joey, myself, and behind is my office, which doesn't even exist anymore because we're now officeless. And it's just incredible to look back on the journey. So I thought for All Hands Meeting 31, we'd start off kind of with a journey in the last 10 years and what we've learned as a result of, 31 All Hands Meetings. And our culture is so important to us here at Roma. And we constantly talk about fulfilling our culture. How do we make it intentional? How do we grow the culture here at our company? But our culture was only made possible because someone opened their doors to me 10 years ago. Someone showed me what was possible. And that company was Zappos.com. And this is the exact photo that I took 10 years ago, almost to the date of when I, was welcomed into Zappos for 3 days. I got to see everything about the business, how it functioned, and I left with a sense of awe, a true sense of awe that people can actually love what they do while doing work with people they love and feeling really inspired around, doing the things that they love. And I just thought, how cool is it? How do we bring that back to our organization? And in fact, when I came back to the organization, it didn't feel like that. Roma didn't feel like that company, but we had a commitment to change that. And I recall coming back to the company on All Hands Meeting 1, which, by the way, you can watch right now on our website. All the All Hands Meetings are there. That's what I love about video. But I came back and I said, how do we create a company where we blur the lines between work and play? That you're doing some of the best work of your life, but you forget you're actually working and yet doing something out of passion. It's kind of like watching kids when they're playing. I know for myself, my 5-year-old daughter, try to pull her off the playground or whether she's playing with whatever toys she's playing with. She's so enthralled, she forgets time. There's no time conception. There's nothing. She just wants to play. And I thought, how do we create that at work where we blur those lines? And the other thing I want to add, you can only blur those lines between work and play when you're doing it with people you respect and people you otherwise really want to do business with. Both internally, your teammates, but also externally, our partners. And that became our vision. How do we do that? 10 years ago, we created that vision. We didn't know how to fulfill on it, but we made that commitment of blurring those lines. Furthermore, this is the exact email I sent out. Over 10 years ago, I didn't know who was in our organization. I didn't know what they valued. And I took responsibility for that. I should have known. And as a result, I wanted to learn. So we sent out a note, an email to the entire company stating, we want to build core values for our company, our guiding principles. But in order to do that, we had to figure out what were people's values within the organization already at Roma. And so that was about a 6-month project. And the culmination of that work came up with our 10 really awesome core values. And our core value, number 4, is to build a positive team and family environment. Today, our core values not only are still with us, but they guide everything we do, essentially. And instead of saying, what would Johnny do or what would Sarah do, what we say is, what aligns with the values of our company? Does it align? If it does, let's go in deep. And so our core values have become, a principal guideline. There are guiding principles of how we do everything internally, but also externally, both with our supplier base and, with our awesome partners across, North America. And our mission, I remember, having this discussion, how do we create a mission? And we got a really cool team together, and we brainstormed for weeks upon months. And we wanted a mission, a goal for the company that was easy to understand, maybe not easy to achieve, but easy to understand and memorable. And it had to be somewhat of a checklist. And we said, if we could move someone, inspire someone, and wow someone, we both believe internally amongst one another, we would have friends for life. But also, if we did this with our supplier base and our customer base, they'd want to keep coming back for more. So anything we do, no different than this all hands meeting, or whether it's a new product development, or whether it's something, or a video, or something that we do within our company, we always ask ourselves, did it move, inspire, and wow? And kind of think of those as 3 checklists. Did we move someone, inspire someone, and wow someone? And while we don't always hit the mark on all 3, we aim to hit the mark on all 3. We're certainly not perfect, but it's so amazing that our company can look towards our mission and say, did we accomplish it? Did we succeed? I think a lot of companies falter because they don't know what winning looks like. Where's that benchmark? For us, it's, did we move you, did we inspire you, and did we wow you? All not very easy to achieve, but when you get the hang of it, when you set that as the benchmark, look out. Magical things start to happen within your organization. What we also did over the last 10 years is we've coached, mentored, and trained both internally in our leadership team and our team members abroad, both in the US and Canada. And we also did the same with our supplier base. And we tried to do the same, and I think we've been very successful with many of our partnerships. We've aligned really well with our partners. And I think it's through our coaching, mentoring, and training that we were able to do that. We also did that same thing with our business partner specialists. Now, when you create a culture and you create a set of values and you set what winning looks like, this is the culmination. This is us back in 2009 when we were able to get together at trade shows. This is at the Bellagio Hotel in one of the rooms where we were able to, spread out and have an amazing boardroom conversation. And it was about a 3 to 4 hour, sales meeting where we talked about strategies. We talked about what the next few days were going to be. We had some really cool experiences and certainly team building activities. Again, folks, over the last 10 years, this was only made possible because of how we strengthened the company, how we aligned each other within the organization. And these are some of the outcomes of that. And I think over the last 10 years, I think what we've done really well is we celebrate our wins. I think for so many, around the country, forget to really pause and take appreciation of what has transpired. Did we achieve our goal? If we did, how do we sit in that? How do we give appreciation to the teams of men and women who made that possible? But also, when new team members come into the company, how are we making them feel? Is their onboarding really smooth? Did someone curate every moment of that experience? And this is a photo taken from an onboarding years past, where on the 5th day, on the Friday, we typically do a parade where we then shower that individual with, a bunch of fun stuff. We say a few words, few speeches. They get that trophy. And I don't know about you, but the look on his face really says it all. So how are we making internal people feel at our organization is as important, if not more important, than how we make our external, partnerships feel. Both equally important, but in order to have remarkable customer experiences, You need your experiences internally to be remarkable. Because as they say, only happy, remarkable people can deliver remarkable customer experiences. And I think we've done a really great job in the curation of our partner base. And I think your vibe typically attracts your vibe. So as we permeated who we are, we somewhat polarized who we do business with, both from a supplier base and a customer base. But I'll tell you, our customers are some of the most loyal customers in the world. They keep coming back for more goodness of Roma. It's cutting edge designs, it's sophistication in concepts and marketing, and so much more. And this is a great photo of us once again with a few team members at the West Coast Art and Frame Show. So really a great testament over the last 10 years of what we've been able to do. And then, oftentimes people feel that you build your culture internally, you make your customers feel good, but in many respects, you leave out supplier bases. In fact, we flip that on its head, and we actually treat our suppliers like gold. And I think that permeates. I think they then show up for us. During this pandemic, where others are really suffering on a mass scale for supply chain, I think we've been doing remarkably well because there's been priority put on Roma products, on Roma quality, on Roma service and fill rates. But this photo is a testament to some of the people we get to work with on a day-and-day basis. And there won't be a week that doesn't go by that we're FaceTiming on a very frequent basis to make sure that quality is in play, our new designs are in play, and things of that nature are really making the difference. And I think that's why today our supply chain is probably, bar none, probably the best supply chain in the industry. And lastly, we are so blessed and we are so, grateful of the support we have both from our supplier base, our partner base, and internal. And as a result of being so blessed, I think, we've taken a moment and reflected on what can we do as a company to really make a difference in the world. And that's when Roma Wish was born. Roma Wish was born over 7 years ago. And we really haven't stopped since. We've been doing a mission every year. This is our first mission we did in Haiti, and it was an incredible mission, a mission I'll never forget, a mission that changed my life forever. And since then, we've been on numerous missions, whether it's to Detroit or New Orleans or various other places around the U.S. and Canada. It's just been phenomenal. What we've been able to do with the support both from our customers, our suppliers, and internally. It is all self-funded, so all our Roma Wish campaigns are self-funded, and then we think that's very responsible on us. And I think it's the right thing to do. So whenever you can give back, give back. And in our own little way, Roma Wish has been that thing that reminds us, just about how lucky we all are to be able to work together. And I think what's important to note is over the last 10 years, you get a lot of naysayers. And just like that first video I played, I thought that video was epic because in many respects over the last 10 years, and maybe even up till today, many will look at us like that dog in the grass, in the yard, looking like an idiot. And while some may look and see an idiot, we've been busy at work really building this company, really building its experiences, building its team, building its alliances, and we've been hard at work. And if you know anything about me, while everyone's going on defense, we've been going on offense, and we've been working vigorously, really, really hard together to get to where we are today. We think we're in a great place. We think things are moving, impeccably well. Could there be, improvements? For sure. Don't misconstrue my words. But I'm very thankful as to where we are and what we've achieved together. And this is a slide that forever is, important to me because I think many people give up because what people say about them. People often give up for the fear of looking bad or not looking good. In fact, the saying goes, what people think of you is none of your business. Well, it is none of our business. And we've been hard at work really developing this company and this culture. And we never, ever gave up. And the last 10 years just has been an incredible journey. And as I stand here, all hands meeting 31, is our best all hands meeting, packed with some of the best initiatives that we have, some of the best product offerings, and some of the best programs, certainly here at Roma, but we also think within the industry. So sit back, I think you're going to enjoy the show.